When you think of the archetype of a superhero, the first thing that probably comes to mind is their costume. Striking designs meant to communicate to the audience what the powers or personalities of these characters are like. It's what elevates them beyond a simple character with powers and turns them into something super, something to strive towards, something that's
iconic, a symbol, something kids will draw on the margins of their notebooks while they daydream about being as cool as you. It's also tough as hell to pull off.
With these super suits being so critical to superheroes, and with so many artists leaving their own unique fingerprints on these characters, it should come as no surprise that most characters have had their fair share of alternate costumes. Sometimes for the best, and sometimes for the worst. But regardless of their quality, these alternate superhero costumes make for great collectibles in video games. Most superhero games have some form of alternate costumes, and Marvel Rivals is no exception. With 3 classes of heroes and an expanding roster, alternate costumes is the most reasonable way for an otherwise free game to make some money while providing fans with some visual variety. So I figured I'd help to add to that variety with some ideas of my own. This is one costume for every single Duelist character in Marvel Rivals. It actually took me a second to land on doing the Duelist video first, because obviously, I wanted to make one video for each different class, and, some classes are more popular than others, as in everything is more popular than Strategist, but, I figured this, Duelist, it has the most popular characters in it, it has the most characters in it, so I'll go with that and we'll go from there. Anyways, on with the first character. The tough thing about finding an alternate costume for Black Panther is that there's not a lot of variety in Black Panther's costumes. They all follow relatively the same format with a few additional touches here and there. The base suit that he has in the game basically covers most of your Black Panther looks. To find a good alternate costume, I would have to find something that really shakes it up. Luckily, artist Chris Allen really shook things up in his 2023 Black Panther book's design for the character in his new Banished costume. In this story, Black Panther is banished from Wakanda, but still protects it from within, from the shadows. I think it's a really cool, badass looking suit. I love the big pauldron on the shoulder, I love the cape, the spear, the little throwing knives, the hand claws. Hell, the spear on it even kind of plays into Black Panther's mechanics in the game, where he uses his spear to mark his targets. I think it mixes up the suit about as much as you really can, and for all of those reasons and more, I think it would make a really good addition to Marvel Rivals. Black Widow has a similar issue to Black Panther in that they've basically all got the one outfit with various minor alterations to it. The black bodysuit is just it. It's perfect for a spy, it's perfect for that character. They nailed it on the head with that one. Luckily, Black Widow wore something before she got her iconic black bodysuit, something that is wildly different. I'm talking about the Soviet Spider outfit from Tales of Suspense number 64 by Don Heck. This suit certainly leans into more superhero-y elements with the cape and mask and things like that, and I think it's so dramatically different from what we know Natasha to wear nowadays that it would be a really fun addition. This was back from her supervillain days, and this suit's filled with all sorts of gadgets and stuff to help her fight against Iron Man a little bit more efficiently. Obviously, you wouldn't be able to implement any of that into the game, but I think just the fun, radically different look with the blue and the fishnets and, the black hair instead of the red hair, it would be a fun mix-up. And hey, Tales of Suspense number 64, that's not just the first appearance of this suit, it's also the second appearance of another famous Marvel character. Yes, Hawkeye, aka Clint Barton. Honestly, I'm going to give a very hot take about Hawkeye and stuff, right? I really love his classic costume. Also by Don Heck, this one appearing in Avengers number 109. I really love this costume. I know a lot of people aren't fans of it for whatever reason, but I really dig it. I think it fits his Archer's aesthetic. I love the color purple, and this outfit is, full of it. A lot of people seem to not like the mask, but let me genuinely ask you, what is the difference between this mask and Wolverine's mask? What is what makes this one lame and his cool? Alright, get back to me on that one. Yeah, Hawkeye's iconic purple and blue. There's nothing really like it in the game. Obviously he has an outfit with purple and blue accents, but it's really its own thing, and I would love to have something more in line with this classic comic book look for Hawkeye somewhere in there to play as. Well, you remember earlier when I said that Black Panther and Black Widow had this issue of not having a lot of variety? Yep, we're here again. And after all that talk about how each artist leaves their own thumbprint and things like that, and yeah, whatever. Just most of Hela's outfits in the comics are some basic variation or artist's rendition of the same costume. We could do one of her earlier looks, which didn't have as many horns and whatnot, but oh wait, no, Marvel Rivals already has that as a skin in the game. So what can you do to really mix it up? The best I can do for you is Hela's Goddess of Life outfit from What If Season 2. The all-white look, it's the most drastically different, it's the most varied outfit, it's the only thing I could think of. But honestly, I think it would be a pretty good fit. You know, we've seen some MCU stuff in there, so it's not unprecedented. And like I said, it's the most radically different thing I could think of from her regular appearances. It takes that black and flips it into a white, you know? I think that would be fun. I think it would mix it up. Look, it's all I got, alright? It's not a good sign that we're this early into the video and I gotta pull straws like this, okay? Iron Fist poses a really unique issue for this, because most of the characters here are the most iconic versions of these characters, and as such, have a bunch of different costumes. But the Iron Fist in Marvel Rivals is not the most iconic Iron Fist. The most iconic Iron Fist, the one people know about from the comics, is Danny Rand. This one, however, is Lin Lai, who took over the role recently and used to be the character Swordmaster. As such, he's only really had the one costume because that's all he's really had the time to wear. So, what do we do about him and the costumes? Honestly, best I've got, give him Danny Rand's costume. Don't put Danny Rand in the game as an alternate skin. This is just Lin Lai wearing Danny Rand's outfit, the iconic Iron Fist outfit, the big collar, the bandana, the slippers, the big open chest with the dragon tattoo. Do all of it. It's super iconic. People love it. They will buy this skin. Okay, so where other characters have had the issues of too little variety, Iron Man has the exact opposite issue. Alternate outfits for him aren't just a gimmick that he does every now and then, they're a core tenement of the character. His entire superpower is having alternate costumes. So you could pick a really obvious one, like maybe some of the MCU suits, or maybe like the Bleeding Edge or Extremis armor, but I decided to get weird with it. That's why my pick is the Iron Maniac armor. This suit first shows up in Marvel Team Up number 2 from 2004, and it really doesn't have that much to it. It's an evil version of Iron Man from a parallel universe who comes over to do some stuff. I'm not gonna lie, I picked this one because, like, I saw it in an Iron Man suit list like 10 years ago or whatever, and it has lived rent-free in my mind since. It's such a unique looking suit. The combination of silver and purple is really cool. I love that classic kind of pointier Iron Man mask. I think this outfit just looks great. It just sticks in my head so much. It feels really unique, and I think it would make a fantastic skin. I think people will really enjoy this. It would really stand out from other Iron Men with the typical red and yellow patterns. Magic is such a cool character, and I'm glad she's getting a lot more exposure and popularity, in part due to games like this one. I think a really perfect costume for her would be her original New Mutants outfit that she first got in New Mutants number 14. Magic is an X-Man, and that's what this suit represents, you know? Despite all her dark, brooding, kind of lone wolf attitude, yeah, she's part of a team, she's part of a family, and this suit obviously harkens to it. It's really simplistic, but, you know, you toss the metal arm to it, you toss on the sword, and bada bing, bada boom, you got a whole, you know, iconic look going on. So yeah, I think this would really stand out from like your typical Magic loadouts, which are going to, you know, have more of like the shorts and the crop top kind of look or whatever with the horns and everything. I think this will be a fun mix-up. I think this is a good skin for Magic. For Moon Knight, we're going to have to kind of do what we did with Iron Fist. Mark has a couple of different Moon Knight outfits, but by and large, they are basically the same outfit with a few tweaks every here and there, and the Marvel Rivals Moon Knight covers most of those alternate looks, really. So instead, we're going to have Mark / Jake / Steven in another character's costume. Who will that character be? Well, that'll be Hunter's Moon, a character who, well, in his costume anyways, first showed up in Moon Knight #1 from 2021. This character's real name is Dr. Yaya Badar. I am so sorry if I got that wrong, but he is essentially the second fist of Khonshu. He is another devout follower of Khonshu, one that's a little bit more loyal than Mark is, which leads to some conflict between them. I think that the more black suit with the white cape and these little circular moon patterns on the head and chest, the elements of gold, they're really cool, and I think they'll make for a great skin. I really wanted to do something kind of similar with Namor as I did with Magic, tie him into the greater Marvel Universe, specifically the X-Men part of the Marvel Universe, because Namor is a mutant. He's the first mutant. Not really, but it's a title because he was the first one that showed up. Whatever, we're not getting into it. Now, normally Namor wears his typical outfit, and then on occasion it has a little X-Men symbol on the belt buckle. But then I remembered there's an outfit which can tie him into a greater part of X-Men lore. That is his Phoenix 5 outfit. Basically, during an event called Avengers vs. X-Men, the Phoenix, split off into a bunch of different host bodies, and Namor was one of them, and got this massive power boost and this costume. I think the fire elements would look great on this suit, the little fire around his little ankle wings especially. I think this would be a really fantastic suit. But yeah, I think just the fire effects would just really make it stand out. It would really make it something spectacular. I think it would tie him in with the X-Men side of the universe. I just think it's great all around. I would love to play in this skin. Okay, so Psylocke has all of Iron Fist's issues, and so many more. So the version of Psylocke that we have in Marvel Rivals is Psy from Peach Momoko's Demon Days, but that's basically an original version of the character, so she basically just has the one outfit, which is what Marvel Rivals has drawn from. The most famous version of the character, though, is Betsy Braddock, who's in a whole body swap situation with another character named Quanon. And so there's all the outfits that Betsy Braddock has had, all the outfits that we know that Quanon, and it gets all mixed up, and it becomes so complicated so fast. So as you could imagine, I was rather confused. Whose suit should I give this character? Which I pick from? But then I realized, oh wait, she has an alternate skin. That's just Psylocke's regular costume, her iconic one from the Marvel Comics, despite all the craziness. Okay, sure, whatever. If we can do that, I can do this. So I'm giving her her Lady Mandarin costume from the comics. In part just because it is so very different from the typical ninja aesthetic that Psylocke is known for. It's so very different from a lot of the aesthetics that Betsy Braddock uses whenever she's not Psylocke. I just think it was cool. This is from a temporary period where she was brainwashed and becoming a bad guy, and it was a whole thing, and I'm pretty sure it involved the hand, but I don't know, I can't remember off the top of my head. Pretty sure it did, though. But yeah, I just think the big headdress, the cape, all the armor and things like that, it would lead to a really different look, which would it's just cool. It's just very cool. It's very different and very cool, and that's why I think it's a perfect outfit. And really, isn't that all the reason you need? For Scarlet Witch, it was a really easy pick for me. Just classic Scarlet Witch. Basically, the first version of this suit basically showed up in Avengers number 75 with art by John Buscema. And honestly, I just think it's pretty iconic. They've yet to add it. It feels pretty obvious, but I would love to see it. I love the cape on it. I love the kind of pink elements in addition to the red. It's a super iconic suit, and honestly, I would just love something a little bit more comic booky. I love the suits that she has in the game, especially her base one, but hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Oh, Spider-Man, Marvel's golden boy. They can always rely on you for an easy paycheck. And so they've given you about 115 different costumes over the years to make action figures of. That sounds cynical, but Spider-Man is legitimately huge, to say the least, and just massively beloved, and he does have so many costumes to draw from. I could pick a more obvious one, like 2099, or a more controversial one, like that streaming costume he had recently, but I figured, screw it. He has so many costumes out there, and everyone's got a favorite. Why don't I just pick something new that'll probably be an unpopular opinion? I'm gonna go with the 8 Deaths of Spider-Man suit. This suit is still relatively new. It was designed by Ed McGuinness, and, you know, I love Ed McGuinness's artwork, and this is a pretty cool looking suit. Regardless of what you have to say about the story, this is a really cool suit. I love the silver and the red. I love the glowy green spider. I love that huge red scarf with it. I think it's just a really cool and unique look for Spider-Man, you know? The scarf adds some more flowiness to it and stuff. Silver isn't really a prominent color that we, I think, ever see in Spider-Man. I like the kind of glowy logo. I like the emphasis on red where it's not typically at. It kind of takes the place of the blue in your typical Spider-Man design. Yeah, it's just, you know, why not give this suit a chance? Let it show up in something. Every other Spider-Man suit does. This one will eventually. Let's just go ahead and give it here. So at first for Squirrel Girl, I was tempted to give her the costume of her clone, Allie in green, from Squirrel Girl Beats Up the Marvel Universe. I like the kind of darker color palette with the bright red, you know, belt and shoes. I think that'd be a fun contrast. But I decided, what the heck, it's Squirrel Girl, we can play it up a little bit more. And so ultimately, I decided to go with the Iron Squirrel armor from Unbeatable Squirrel Girl number 2. This is just a bit armor featured briefly as she does like some, you know, stuff with Galactus basically, but it's fun, you know, it's a Squirrel Girl Iron Man armor. It highlights her relationship with Tony since she first appeared in an Iron Man story basically. And I think that would be great. I think it would be, you know, just a cute, fun little, you know, Squirrel Girl costume. I love it. 10 out of 10. Star-Lord has actually had a good couple of really different suits over the years because he has gone through some interesting and strange changes. A lot of his costumes nowadays, because of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, tend to come down to some form of jacket and a helmet. But I want to take it all the way back to Marvel Preview number 4, with art by Stephen Gann and Bob McLeerden. The original Star-Lord costume is so bizarre compared to how we know him now. This weird bug-eyed helmet, the blue and yellow color palette, this just kind of more typical superhero bodysuit-ish type look. I think it's so removed from what people think of Star-Lord looking like that it would just be really fun and kind of wacky to include it. Plus, I do have some fondness for it. I think that the big bug-eye kind of alien helmet look is kind of cool and kind of fits that whole like space exploration, you know, kind of hero type look. It gives off a kind of Flash Gordon, Adam Strange kind of vibe, and I really dig that. I dig that kind of classic sci-fi style. I think the yellow and blue go good together. His belt's got a kind of red accent to it that it adds. I think this would be a really like interesting suit that kind of ties into the character's history and the way he's evolved in a lot of ways. I think this should absolutely be in the game at some point or another. So for Storm, I really wanted to pick something that kind of dropped the kind of mohawk look that she's got going on. The mohawk look for her is cool and I like it, but it's only cool because it's unique. And if you make every haircut that Storm has be the mohawk, then, you know, it sort of loses some of that. And I would like to see a Storm skin with her more typical, you know, kind of hair intact. The skin I've selected is her Thor outfit. Look, I said I wanted to get rid of the mohawk. I didn't say that would actually be happening. I was actually inspired to pick this one out because of her team-up ability with Thor and Captain America in the game. I figured that was probably just because both of these characters have wielded Mjolnir at some point or another in the comics. But yeah, this outfit could really kind of play into that team-up ability and things like that. I like the huge cape on it. I like the big wings to the side of her head, kind of, you know, framing the mohawk and things like that. The hammer she wields here, Stormcaster, was made by Loki to help trick her into a sort of ploy against Thor by Loki, And obviously she couldn't use that in her gameplay, but maybe it could be like hanging off her hip or something. I think that would be a really cool little Easter egg, another cool little element that you could add to this costume. I think it's really unique. I think it shows off just how powerful and cool Storm is. I would love to see it. Would love to see something that shows off her natural hair a bit more though. Okay, before I can get into this, I gotta say, I really want Punisher to go back to the white go-go boots and gloves and everything. Like, still just as hardened and gritty and dark as he's become in more modern times, but just with that classic 60s look to him again. Now, as much as I love that look and would love for it to show up in Marvel Rivals, I've got something a little bit more interesting. I would love to see the Punisher Noir costume show up. I think that moving the skull from his chest to his face as this kind of mask is really cool. And the whole outfit does have this kind of pulpy detective look with the long coat and things like that, which obviously plays into other looks that the Punisher has had over the years. There's not really much to say about this outfit. It's just a really cool and unique look for the character that I would love to see pop up more often. The Winter Soldier is another example of not a lot of variety in his costumes. He's only been around since about 2005, and so his Winter Soldier fits haven't really changed that much. The most different one I can think of, they've already done. It's his Revolutionary skin in Marvel Rivals, so I can't really think of any Winter Soldier outfits to add. But that's just the thing. He wasn't always the Winter Soldier. He was once just Bucky Barnes, Captain America's loyal sidekick, back in 1941. Yeah, I think they should add the original Bucky suit. I think that would be really just, classic, really just dramatically different from what we have for the typical Winter Soldier looks. Obviously, you'll still need to include the robot arm some way or another, but yeah, I think it would be really fun to basically just take the classic Bucky outfit with that sort of blue double-breasted jacket with the red tights and gloves and everything, just slap a robot arm on it and bam, new Winter Soldier skin. It plays around with Marvel history, it would be a little funny, it would be a little different. I think it's a fantastic choice. Oh, Wolverine, Marvel's golden boy. They can always rely on you for an easy paycheck. And so they've given you about 115 different outfits to make action figures of. That might sound cynical, but hey, Wolverine is widely beloved and has a billion outfits, and they're all very popular. But for me, I'm going to go with the patch look he had back when he was doing spy work in Madripoor. I think the eye patch and the all-white suit is so funny for an undercover look, because there is nothing undercover about that look. It's a super iconic look for Wolverine. It's kind of silly. I would absolutely love to see it. And hey, while we're at it, let's go ahead and give just an advanced look at our tank list. I want a matching outfit for the Hulk. I want the Hulk and Wolverine to be able to have their little side-by-side buddy cop duo cover. But yeah, give Wolverine his kind of James Bond patch outfit. Now again, we've got another instance of not too much actual variety in his comic book costumes. There are little embellishments, but nothing too big to make an entire new skin out of, not at this point. His main outfit basically does the white and blue look, and his secondary outfit basically does the blue and black look. So what else can I really do to shake it up? I could do the Future Foundation suit, but the kind of special thing about that is the mostly white color palette, which is already covered by his base suit. So I figured the next best thing would probably be his red outfit from 2014. Designed by Leonard Kirk, this is not the Fantastic Four's most popular look, but it is very different, and I think that'll be fun. It's a bit of a deep cut, it's the most dramatically different thing I can think of, and hey, when you put out the rest of the FF, you can basically give them one of these costumes for all of them. And before you say anything, no, my picks for the Fantastic Four will not all be this costume. Just gonna say it now, everyone can have their red suit. But yeah, my best idea for Mr. Fantastic, the red outfit. And so we come to our final Duelist character, the newest one at the time of recording this. Johnny Storm, aka the Human Torch. Okay, funny story. I actually could have had this video out like a week earlier. It was like so ready to go. But then I heard that the Thing in the Human Torch would be dropping like next Friday. And I figured, well, obviously the Human Torch is going to be a Duelist character. And I can't make this video and have it just be irrelevant within a week. So I decided wait around, see what skins Johnny will have, and then make my suggestion, delaying the entire video for just one character. But hey, it looks like the skin they're giving him in the game is the outfit he wore while he was trapped in the negative zone for a while, which was not going to be the outfit I was going to suggest. So that waiting was just all for nothing. Brilliant. Cool. Love that. But what outfit do I want to give Johnny? Well, that would be his Uncanny Inhumans outfit. This costume, like the red one, came from a very unpopular period in the character's history. A period I refer to as the Dark Times. The Dark Times were this brief period where Ike Perlmutter didn't want to make any X-Men or Fantastic Four comic books because those would promote movies owned by other studios. And so the Fantastic Four just disappeared, alongside the X-Men. It was a really terrible period of Marvel because Ike Perlmutter is kind of a terrible person. Point is, this is an outfit that Johnny wore while he was kind of all on his own. Sue and Reed were out in another dimension somewhere, and, you know, Johnny kind of had to do his own superhero stuff without the FF. And honestly, it's not that bad. I like the colors on it, you know, it's a pretty distinct look for him. It's the only thing I could think of that wasn't directly related to the FF that sort of broke off from their typical looks. It's more of a solo superhero suit for Johnny, and you know what? I kind of enjoy that. Good for him. It's nice to see him do some stuff on his own. Although I could not have been more happy when he ditched it and put back on the classic blue suit and got back together with his family. Oh yeah, that's it. That is one costume for every Duelist character in Marvel Rivals. This was really fun to make. It was a really fun challenge. A lot of these characters I did not expect to be as difficult as they were. I did not expect to actually realize that there was so little variety in a lot of characters' outfits, but hey, you know, it makes you appreciate those little and big embellishments even more. Obviously, I will be making videos for the Vanguard and Strategist classes and the costumes I think those characters can have, but if you want to make sure that you see those videos when they come out, go ahead and subscribe and hit the little bell icon so you get notifications whenever a new video gets made. Go ahead and like and comment while you're at it, and stay tuned for next time. I'm Keenan Savage, and I'll see you guys later.